Joining me now to discuss is the managing editor of Ynet English, Sara Miller. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you for having me.
Well, Mike Pompeo is really working on the Saudis to strike a deal with Israel. So I'm wondering, what is stopping them?
Years of cast iron policy. You can't just swing from being a vehement defender of the Palestinians and insisting that any peace deal with Israel includes or is based on a withdrawal to the 1967 borders, and normalization means a Palestinian state. You can't just flip that overnight.
So the Arab Joint List Party in Israel are not going to vote for these accords. They're going to vote against them. Is that because they feel like this is a betrayal toward the Palestinian cause? Why are they staying out of this?
Well, they call it an arms deal, not a peace deal, because deny it as Netanyahu might, the agreement includes the sale of F-35 advanced military jets to the UAE. So they insist that there's nothing concrete in this that will benefit the Palestinians. So all it is essentially is just a way to allow the UAE to acquire F-35 jets.
Interesting. I do want to touch on annexation a little bit. Obviously, we know that Donald Trump's peace plan included supporting Israeli annexation of the West Bank. Now, the Abraham Accords essentially suspended that plan, or at least temporarily. What is the significance of the new housing plans? Is annexation back on the table?
Well, housing construction is not annexation. These are homes that have been approved through a long process, a process that began before the Abraham Accords was signed or announced. And while you can say that it violates the spirit of the agreement, one could make that case, it doesn't necessarily mean that construction or extension of settlements that already exist equals annexation. They're two very different things.
Do you think that we're going to continue to see more parts of Donald Trump's peace plan for Israelis and Palestinians, or are his Abraham Accords sort of taking the place of that?
Well, that depends whether he gets re-elected in November. Look, I think it's only fair to say that the Abraham Accords, yes, Donald Trump was the one that announced it, and yes, he has played a very major role, or his administration has played a major role in making this happen. But this is a process that has been going on for a very long time. Whether he's trying to, as Netanyahu says, achieve peace through peace or peace through strength, rather than territorial exchanges, remains to be seen.
Right.
The Trump plan does clearly set out, does clearly indicate the creation of a Palestinian state. Whether that actually happens or not depends on lots of things,
well, clearly,
including whether he's still in the White House.
Well, clearly a changing Middle East, so we'll have to wait and see how it develops.
Oh,
Sara Miller.
for sure. It's definitely changing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lauren.